Bitcoin soars to record highs. Is this now the time to jump into Bitcoin and altcoins? I've got a very, very important warning for you guys. If there wasn't, you guys know I wouldn't be coming to you guys with a video. So I had to jump on. I had to give you guys this video because I can see a lot of people, and it's particularly the people in my small community that I really care about. I don't want you guys to run into this mistake. If you guys have been watching all these videos through the bear market, through the tough times, I do not want you guys to slip up on this moment right now. So if you appreciate these updates, smash the likes, do not forget to subscribe. But the main focus right now is the Bitcoin, right? Everyone has seen Bitcoin's gone crazy. We've broken out from this consolidation pattern which we were watching before I took my small break making YouTube videos. But you got the breakout, right? And to all intents and purposes, this is a good breakout. But let's start with the measured move, right? Where could this go? Well, the impulse wave is this measured move here. Apply this to the point of breakout, right? Let's go ahead. Let's place that there. And this move starts to work you up to a realistic price point of 137.4. And you can already see that today, just today, we managed to work our way up to 123. But I can hear you guys from here. What about altcoins, right? Everybody knows that Bitcoin has shown really good strength in this market. But what about those darn altcoins? You guys are probably sitting there. You're like, everybody's talking about crypto, but I'm not doing well. My portfolio is not good. And there's two things I need to say to that. One, you guys know I said eat your veg, right? I told you guys, get your Bitcoin, get your Ethereum in your portfolio, Ethereum back above 3,000 as well. And if you didn't do that, it's fine. You're going to remember that for next time. You're going to remember that for going forward when you're trimming profits, etc. You're going to remember to have some Bitcoin. You're going to remember to have some Ethereum. That's important. But for those of you looking at your portfolio now, you're seeing those altcoins. Where are we at? I'm going to break that down in this video, so make sure you watch to the very end. And we're going to start off by looking at Bitcoin dominance, because it's the Bitcoin dominance that we need to start ticking to the downside. We need to see some structure change on here because, quite frankly, if I zoom up to the weekly chart, this is what's been on a tear, right? If you date it back all the way to November 2022, and we monitored it throughout this period. We're not these crypto tourists that are just jumping in now. You guys monitored this. You guys watched this content. You saw that this was breaking out, and it broke out and it went high. And even then, we did the analysis to say, guys, in the previous cycle, Bitcoin dominance went to 73, but the market's a lot maturer. There's stronger altcoins right now. Maybe it doesn't necessarily need to go to 73 again, but I expect it to go through 60, at least 65, maybe even touch 70 as well. And that's pretty much what we got, right? We're here, we touched highs on Bitcoin dominance around that 65, 66 mark. Are we seeing signs of curling? Now, quite frankly, we have seen a couple of red weeks, which is good, right? We have seen a couple of red weeks, but that doesn't mean we've changed the trend on Bitcoin dominance just yet. It doesn't mean we jump the gun and say, oh, look, it's an altcoin season. I cannot say that right now. I know people get excited and tell you that, but you've just got to be calm. You've got to be calm because there have been periods here, for example, towards the end of last year, right? When you were heading into the Trump inauguration, which everybody's excited about, you saw a really positive period. You saw a week down here where dominance fell 1.5, then a week where Bitcoin dominance fell by 4%, and then another week where Bitcoin dominance fell by 2.5. So just in that 3-week period, you got a real pullback in dominance. All coins were doing really, really well. And you could have been led at that point to believe, okay, maybe this is the rotation where we start to see that altcoin season, which we've seen in the past, where Bitcoin dominance really starts to soften. So it's important we understand that, look, we're still heated on Bitcoin dominance. It's still in an upwards trend. Now, I'll start changing my mind when we start really getting into that EMA ribbon. We can start really pulling back, having a couple of weeks here of altcoins showing some strength. That'll be really, really good. Now, I also want to maintain another thing. Because of the delay of this bull market, the inevitable bull market, which, you know, if you're sensible, you know it's not going to go anywhere. You know the bull market is going to happen. My view is that you're going to get a shorter, more explosive bull market, which is a good thing. Remember, for you to get an actual bull market, you need people to forget about crypto. You need people to disengage. Remember I used to always talk about the Uber drivers and people in the office? Well, nobody was talking about crypto, right? And that's exactly when you get this nice, powerful move on Bitcoin, and Ethereum followed as well. But still, you're seeing that the tourists come, they come quickly, they've already got their apps locked and loaded, they've got their exchanges locked and loaded, and they're ready to buy the dip, right? So I expect this altcoin season, when it inevitably does pop off, it's going to be quick. I don't know exactly, anybody who's telling you they know exactly how long the altcoin season is, they're lying to you. But it could be 30 days, it could be 40 days, it could be 60 days. It's not going to be a long period of time for you guys to get your stuff together, for you guys to be focused, to have the altcoins that you want, the ones you believe in. You don't need to catch them all. It's not Pokemon. Just pick the ones that you like, that you believe in, that you're going to hodl, that you've got conviction in. Make sure you got enough of it that if you do get a return, it's a decent return for you, that you're happy with it, right? People don't talk about these things. Like Bitcoin's soaring here at 120, but I know the real sentiment in my community. Many of you guys, many people in crypto full stop, do not have loads in Bitcoin, right? How much you need some serious money in Bitcoin to change your life in Bitcoin with this move, right? It's not going to be done from little bits amount of money, right? And that's why people are in altcoins. And I understand that, which is why you need to find your smaller cap altcoins, your mid cap altcoins. You've got to have a sensible portfolio. Bitcoin, some altcoins, your higher risk stuff that can 10x, that can 20x. You got to take that bet. Of course you do. Have good research. Do have good conviction in that project. Make sure it's something which, when it dips, you're ready to buy the dip. You're not going to panic. And those are the ones that are going to see you well through the altcoin season. Okay? So, for those of you sitting out there, let's take a look at Total 2. Another important chart I want to share with you. Let's start off with just Total. So, over the last couple of weeks with this excitement, right? Last week, we saw 10% increase. In other words, $340 billion flew into crypto, right? Flew into crypto last week, and this week has already started off quite positively as well. But we need to take a look at altcoins, because if you exclude Bitcoin, so this still includes Ethereum, if you exclude Bitcoin, it was only 143 billion. So you can see here when I just toggle between the two, look at this. With Bitcoin, we're breaking that previous high, right? We already broke the high. This was the previous high from 2021. We broke it, right? We broke it at the start of this year. And 6 months later, we come back again to retest it and to go further. Bitcoin has been tremendously strong. However, when you exclude Bitcoin, it's not the same story, is it? And this is where the frustration lies. The frustration lies because of this exact chart here. If you look at this excluding Bitcoin, we've not even got to the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, right, that we saw in the previous cycle in 2021. So even when total market cap created that new high at the start of this year, we didn't. You can see we just narrowly missed it. We didn't manage to get past it. And even now, we're not even close to the January peak. But total, we are, right? So in other words, what we're saying here is that it's Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin-led market right now, and it continues to be a Bitcoin-led market. And until we get evidence otherwise, we just got to be a bit patient. But there's good news. The good news is we've got time to accumulate. But the warning is that don't just rush to accumulate, right? Right now, when euphoric moments, Bitcoin's at 123, everybody's excited. Some altcoins are catching pumps, like Sui up 10% today. Don't be chasing that green candle. Don't buy into that froth. Be patient. Wait for the pullbacks. Wait for the painful periods. And that's when you want to be topping up in those moments when everybody else is fearful. Because the reality is, we're in greed moment right now. Wait for those fearful days. Wait for the inevitable days when there's something going on geopolitically, or Trump says something, or something happens, and you get a bit of a pullback back into support. That's when you want to be topping up. So we are seeing ourselves a bit behind. If we exclude Ethereum from the picture as well, which is looking at Total 3, right? Total 3 is the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin, minus Ethereum. So really just your altcoin base, same story, right? We haven't quite managed to get to that January peak. Even in January, we just about kind of got to the levels of 2021. We didn't eclipse it. Remember, total, if you just look at just total with Bitcoin, we're well past it, right? If I show you the measured move, we are 22% past the market cap that we saw back in 2021. But if you look at total 3, we're still below, right? We are still below. We're about 16%. 16% away. So already, if you just look at that, 16 plus 22, right, you got 38% lag behind where we're at in the total market cap based on just altcoins, which is crazy to think, right? It's crazy to think that despite talks around XRP ETFs and Solana ETFs and excitement around different projects and this going on and institutional adoption and all this, all that, we're still lagging behind. Crazy to think, despite pro-US government, there's so much untapped potential here that I don't want you guys to think it's too late. What I do want you to think is I'm not going to chase green candles, but what I don't want you to think is that it's too late. It is not too late. You can get into the market. Got to be a little bit smart. Don't just be a tourist that walks in, signs up to an exchange, which you can do so, by the way, using the link in the description, to WEEX, to BitGet. Those are the platforms I'm currently using to trade, and of course Bybit as well. Those links will be in the description. But don't just run into that and just suddenly start buying, right? That's not the thing to do just because you can see crypto is starting to trend again. Do the opposite. Wait for those pullbacks, wait for those positions of strength, build your portfolio, because altcoins are still stuck at the traffic light. Now, there is another final message I want to wrap up with, and the overriding thing we're seeing right now is this market is positioning for the inevitable. And the inevitable is that the loosening of monetary policy is coming. Whether we get a rate cut at the next meeting, which the market doesn't think we are, whether we get one in September, which is not far away, guys, we're talking a matter of, kind of a 6-7 week, whatever period, 8-9 week period, it's not long, right? Markets are pricing in that we're getting a rate cut in the next meeting at September the 17th. So not in the July one, but by the September one, they're pricing in that we get a cut. And that starts the money printers, right? At the end of the day, we are correlated to the M2 money supply. Bitcoin and crypto starts to move when money enters the system. The last few years have been horrible because we've had an interest rate rising environment. Quite simply, we're not going to stay in that type of environment. Inflation is all but dead. We're in a better situation. Economies are booming generally globally. Rates will have to come down. And when they do come down, people have more monies in their pockets, their mortgage rate goes down, their car finance payments goes down, their credit card bills go down, and when they've got disposable income, they choose to invest it, and that is going to be the catalyst behind that altcoin season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. I want to get back to these daily videos. I know I've taken a small period off, but before this period off, I did not miss a single day of making videos for over 4 years, guys. So yeah, let me know in the comments what types of videos do you want. It's not easy making videos when these markets are dead and when I don't get engagement from you guys. So please engage. At least if you engage, I know that I'm helping someone, because the fact of the matter is people think that, I make money from these YouTube videos. No, I really don't, guys. I really don't. I make money from my own trading. I make money from my own stuff, my businesses, my investments, all my own stuff. But this is a mission to help you guys. Now, if this channel becomes 100,000 subs, 200,000 subs, and it's making money, you guys can make that assumption. But right now, I've been able to do this for 4 or 5 years because I fund myself, because I actually make money trading and investing. And that's the difference between somebody who's a full-time creator and somebody like me who's just trying to make time to connect with you guys on these videos. That's why it's raw. That's why it's unedited. I just speak to the camera so I can give you guys the advice as and when you need it. If you like this type of content, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.